All right, so Peter, looking back at UFC Fight Night 172, I'm not gonna go all the way back to UFC 249. We already talked about that.
Listen, I'm gonna say something.
You do it. You say it.
You're not gonna say it.
You say it.
I'm gonna say it. People were very happy with your picks.
Were they?
Listen, people love when you hit underdog picks. And here's the other thing. Even when, with the amount of visceral responses that were received to what people felt were robberies, even though you were wrong, they felt you were right. So even on the official record, it's an L, but the people
felt what about the people?
They felt you won those fights too. So you did pretty darn good. I mean, on paper, 7-4, but in reality, probably more like 9-2, right?
Yeah, I would. To be fair, I might have got the benefit of the doubt on one of them. One of the fights that I was going to talk about, they could have gone another way. That some people thought, that fighter was robbed. So it was what it was. Overall, for the week, it was pretty decent. I think it was 14 plus 5 is 9, 8. I think it was 19 and 13 for the week overall.
When you pick dogs, because of the nature of a plus 250, a plus 300, we're making the record doesn't really tell the picture.
Right.
Because if you're ahead of the game 6 fights with plus 250 on each of those, guys were making it outweighs the overall. They ended up plus 6 credits, if you want to say. Yeah. But they were underdogs.
For sure. Yeah. One of the biggest. Thank you. I appreciate it. And congratulations to anybody
who reading the comments. I was like, yeah.
Congratulations to anybody who benefited. One of my biggest ones this week, the biggest underdog for UFC Fight Night 172 was Tab and Dan Ige to beat Edson Barboza. And this is the one that could have gone either way. As a matter of fact, Edson Barboza had a formal protest to the decision that got quickly thrown out this morning. But he thought that he did enough to win 2 of the 3 rounds. It could have gone either way. Ige, I didn't think fought a smart. I don't think he fought a smart fight. In my prediction, I said what I felt he needed to do was to pressure Barboza to work to get the takedown, to tire him out, and get it to the ground. He did that in the 3rd round. And I thought he dominated the 3rd round. The rounds prior to that, I felt like he wanted to prove that he could stand and strike with Barboza. Got hurt in the 1st round, got knocked down, was able to get back up and not get finished. In the 2nd round, he actually did pretty well standing, but then again, at the end of the round, he got hurt with a kick to the body. And I felt if he had just pressured and tried to put Barboza down earlier in terms of the takedown, I thought he would have had an easier fight. But as it turned out, he ended up still getting the decision victory, and I won that one.
Now, you mentioned a protest being thrown out. Now, if there was any protest I felt could possibly be, something that would gain some traction just based on the social media reaction, would have been Marlon Vera's fight. What do you have to say about
that? I think he definitely had a case, but the situation was that I don't think he was busy enough, right? So the fight looked exactly the way I thought, and I had picked Vera to win this fight. He was the underdog. This would have really given me a fantastic week of picks if this one had gone my way.
That social media felt he won this fight.
Yeah, a lot of people felt that he got robbed. The problem was for me with him, the way he approached this fight was, like I said, it looked the way I thought it would look. I knew he was longer. I knew how tough he was. I knew how good he was in terms of boxing and judging distance. I knew that Song Yadong was faster, but I felt that he would be able to kind of get inside of that, use his reach, and he was able to do that. But one thing was weird that he kept doing was he had the reach advantage both in arm length and in leg length. So he would get right to a space where he could touch Song and Song couldn't touch him, but yet he wouldn't throw anything.
Okay.
So it was just like he was content with getting into a striking distance. And then he got to a point where he was closing the distance and waiting for Song to fire.
Right.
And because Song is so fast, I felt like, he missed some opportunities to win some exchanges and to initiate some exchanges. A lot of times you'll hear trainers, especially in boxing, they'll yell, "You first, you first, you first." And I wanted to yell that to Vera, especially since he had the reach advantage. But so I thought in doing that, he left it open for him to lose that second round, which I thought was ultimately the pivotal round.
But despite all that, there was just an overwhelming sentiment that he won.
Yeah, I think a lot of times what happens is, though, people get caught up in the last thing that they saw. Right. And the last thing that they saw was in the third round was Vera on top of Song dominating. So, yes, he won that round definitively. But you know this from listening to people who judge combat sports. They judge a fight the way they judge it in the street. And the last thing that they saw was this guy getting the best shots. But you made a reference before. You were like a fight in boxing is 12 3-minute fights.
Correct.
And you have to judge each one of those. That's how they're supposed to be judged.
They're just individually scored. So it's the sum of all of that together.
Exactly.
It's so, all right, well.
And I think that's what
a lot of people,
right. I mean, I think that's what a lot of people didn't do. For me, I felt that it definitely could have gone Vera's way, and I wouldn't have said, "Oh, this is a robbery." Right. But I also see how he could have lost that second round because I don't think he was quite busy enough. The other thing about that fight was I felt the sportsmanship or the lack thereof that he showed at the end of the fight was kind of just, like he didn't get the decision. Song Yadong goes over to him to give him a handshake, and he blows him off like that. I'm like, bro, Song didn't judge the fight. You know what I mean? Why you mad at him?
You usually guys after that will, there's, I'll tell you something, just because you said that. I speak to some of the folks at USA Boxing.
Right.
Officials, right? And there's one person in particular who is in charge of all the events. And he told me, he's like, I give everybody a free pass who are mostly fine that come by my table immediately after their fight and their son loses a decision. Whatever they say to me, I don't even pay attention. I give them a free pass for a few minutes till they calm down. And then most of them come back and, change their tune. Sometimes these guys still have that adrenaline pumping. I understand that there's a need for good sportsmanship, but there's just a feeling when you really feel you won and you got robbed. It's not that you feel that the other guy had something to do with it. It's the overall disgust.
I get it. I
understand what you're saying. I mean, I would say most part, it's a tough situation to be in because you leave it in the judge's hands and you leave room for disappointment. But like I keep going back to, it wasn't just his own idea that he won.
Yeah, for sure.
What I heard from people in the UFC thought he won.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thought he won, regardless of the fact that maybe you're saying that he left it open to interpretation in the second round. Looking back in hindsight, we can say that.
Yeah.
But in the moment, everybody thought he won.
Yeah, I likened it to De La Hoya Trinidad. I felt Trinidad won that fight. I mean, I felt De La Hoya won that fight.
Right.
But I felt that De La Hoya left it open because he chose
by running
in the last couple rounds.
He thought he was protecting a lead.
Yeah, exactly. And I felt like sometimes you make a tactical decision that leaves it open. And then when the decision doesn't go your way, you're the one that goes home with the regrets. Like, man, if I'd have just been a little bit more, then this wouldn't have happened. So I kind of likened it to that situation. And I get it. Like you said, Herb Dean said the same thing. He said, within the moment, right after I stop a guy, I give a free pass to just about anything they say or do. Yeah. But it is what it is. The one thing is, though, I watch people lose in tougher situations and they handle it better than that. So I'm not throwing him damning him to hell or nothing. It just wasn't cool. Just all.
What are your thoughts on Walt Harris?
Well, before we get to Walt Harris, there was another fight on the card that we wanted to talk about, the co-main event, Claudia Gadelha against Angela Hill. This was another disputed decision. Gadelha got the decision, and Angela Hill desperately thought she won, swore at the screen, which was pretty hilarious, right? Right when the decision was read. I did judge the fight for Gadelha. She's another one who I don't think fought the right fight. I thought she she stood for too long. I knew that Angela Hill would be a better striker than her. She got dropped in the second round pretty nasty after she had dominated the first round going for the takedown. Angela Hill did a good job fighting takedowns off, but I felt that Gadelha should have been more aggressive going for takedowns. She should have simply been jabbing straight right hand just to cause the defense to be up top so she could change levels to go for the takedown. But she was too content to box. And from a speed standpoint and from a stamina standpoint, she just couldn't keep the pace. So I felt that, while she did do enough, I felt in the third round to win, I thought she gave herself a chance to get the same type of treatment that Marlon Vera got, because I thought she chose and that Dan Ige could have gotten, because she chose a brawl route. So, but that was the co-main event. In the main event, the Walt Harris thing was, I'm going to tell you something. This is probably an unpopular type of a take.
Okay.
But the world was behind Walt Harris, obviously, because of the horrible thing that happened. But I'm going to use a Dennis Green, kind of a take. Walt Harris is who I thought he was. Walt Harris has a hole in his game, and it is anytime the fight goes to the ground.
Okay.
It's been this way before. I'm not saying that he didn't deserve the shot. He absolutely did. He's been knocking guys out, and he's a fantastic striker. He's a big, super athletic heavyweight. But when that fight goes to the ground, he looks absolutely lost. And the extra weight that he had did not help, because once he went down to the mat and Overeem got on his back, he got gassed so quickly. I mean, you hardly ever see a guy taking that heavy of deep breaths, especially this was still the first round. And at that point, it was a wrap. And
I'm sorry, but like we said, maybe that weight was to try to prevent those takedowns. Maybe there wasn't a full proper training camp, but what I'm saying is maybe it backfired.
Well, the funny thing is that he slipped. He didn't even get taken down.
Right.
He slipped. And when he slipped, Overeem's very smart. As soon as because Overeem was literally maybe 20 seconds from being this close to being stopped, because Walt had hurt him with a 2-3 combination. And he went down, and Overeem was doing just enough to keep the fight from being stopped, because Dan Miragliotta was moving in, looking to see if he was going to stop. And Overeem did enough just to block it through some up kicks to keep him off. And then in the process, right after the up kick came and it caught Walt in the chest a little bit, Walt moved to his left a little bit, but in that process, he lost his footing. And when he lost his footing, Overeem went right on top of him and started landing shots. And because Walt is so totally inequipped to build a base to stand up, it's over. It's over. It was just that simple. And he also looked to panic a bit when he was down there. But that's what guys do when they're not equipped on the ground. They go to the ground and they panic. Right. So, that's what it was. So I think Walt can still beat a lot of heavyweights. But if he fights any heavyweight who has the ability to take him down, this is what's going to happen. So he's got about a 90-second window in which he has to stop a guy early. If he's not able to do that, and they're able to get a single or double that's tight in on him and push him against that cage, he's a big, strong guy, but everybody's fighting is big, strong guys too. So, that's what it was. But it was an entertaining card altogether, and basically has us looking forward to the next one.